the first ever 94 by 50 podcast. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. First of all, actually, thank you to everyone who's been supporting me throughout this journey. My friends, my family, everyone who's been helping me create this podcast, the logos, the ideas, and I'm extremely excited to present the very first episode of 94 by 50, brought to you by yours truly, Ilya Kurbanov. For those who don't know me, I am a journalism student currently at the University of King's College. Um, I am also doing a number of things, writing articles for OXP Media, Overexposure Media, based in Toronto, covering Canadian content strictly. We do as much as we can to support our Canadian athletes and coaches and trainers and Canadian sports in Canada in general. And given this opportunity, I've been extremely grateful for that. Uh, I'm also doing a few things school-wise. There's the very important person that was supposed to join us a little later, but he is here. Let me introduce, without further ado, my good friend, a great basketball player. Don't take that away from him ever, ever. Freak athlete, Nikita Kasongo. Buddy, how you doing, bro? How you
Bro,
doing today?
I'm
Thanks for
good.
joining me.
I'm good, man, bro. Thanks for having me, bro.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely, man. How to support the Canadian athletes. Like I said earlier, to introduce this podcast is really covering our Canadian athletes, Canadian coaches. You know everything that has to do with Canadian sports and just sports in Canada and over around the world. How
doing
you
big
been,
things,
man?
bro. You're doing big things,
I'm
bro.
trying. I'm trying. Hey, here's the thing. That's how it starts. You do a little bit of everything, and then you end up finding the idea and finding your niche.
Nah,
Just like
I hear you, bro.
you found passion for basketball way after you found your passion in soccer. Talk to me about that and how it all started for you, brother.
Damn, bro. So pretty much I really only started playing serious basketball when I was about 14, 15 years old. Before that, I was playing soccer. Um, almost religiously, like my dad growing up in Africa, that's all they played, soccer. So it was a big thing in my culture, in my family and stuff. So when I was growing up, always playing soccer. To this day, it's kind of like my favorite sport. It's always in me. You feel me? You know that. Um, but yeah, so I switched sports when I was a little bit younger, so about 14, 15. That's when I pretty much started growing. I had this growth spurt where I went from maybe 5 foot 6 or 7 to near 6 feet. I was just growing over one summer, and I was introduced to basketball really. I played here and there, with friends, but nothing serious. And I always had this athletic gift. So I was introduced to basketball, and yeah, man, here I am today. I just kept playing, kind of it became my niche. I became better at basketball than I ever was at soccer, so that's why that's why we kept hooping.
Absolutely, man. Hey, going back to those days, I think even when I met you, first time, what is it, 2011? All I saw was dude coming in the park and jumping. I'm like, who the heck is that kid?
That's all I
I'm
knew
like,
how to do, bro. All I knew how to do was
but
just
but
jump.
but the thing is, you knew how to do that, and you were doing it with ease. Like
Mm,
we come into the park, we see Nick. Oh, we know a few dunks are coming the way. They're
mm,
coming,
I hear you,
and
bro. That's facts.
it was great. Great experience, just balling outside. Nobody cares about anything, and here we are now. It's like 9 years later, doing bigger things,
Yeah,
playing on a
man.
higher level, going to university. Um, and what I often think about is how people really think of the way athletes are being given things. Like, you know what I mean? We go to school, or like there's, here's a scholarship, pay for your tuition. Here's something. But what people don't really know is the work that goes into it.
A lot, a
You
lot
know,
of work,
and
man.
talk to me, like talk to like I've seen it because I've been there,
Yeah,
just like you. Like I worked, got to university, did my thing. Now I'm doing school, focusing on this podcast, my media career, future, and still playing basketball.
yeah, bro.
Then for you, you were able to play for St. Mary's. You know what? I'll just let you talk about it, man. Talk about your experience.
um, like my university in general, or just
Anything, man. Like you've done things on every level. You played against some
yeah,
crazy prospects that play in the league right now. And just talk about it, man. Just share your life, share
yeah,
your
bro.
basketball experience, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Like, damn, I don't even know where to start with this, but yeah, I've been through several different programs, and like you said, AAU, which was probably some of the funnest like times of playing basketball. When like yo, there was just traveling and just hooping, playing against, like you said, like some big talents. I played against several NBA players, current NBA players. But my like with basketball, man, like it was always kind of like I learned at an early age that the to fully experience like basketball, was to sacrifice a lot of other things. You know what I mean? Like you said, like it comes with a lot. You know, it's not as easy as people like would say being a student athlete is. So I learned at a young age that you have to sacrifice a lot of time, spending like time with your friends, like while everybody's doing their own thing. You know, like we're in the gym, working, trying to get better, and trying to perfect your craft. You know, and that's what I learned at an early age. You know, it was the first thing you had to sacrifice. But that being said, basketball brought me a lot of great moments, bro. Great experiences. Me and you had the opportunity to play together at Champlain College, man. Shout out to the
Shout
Cavs
out
real
to the
quick.
Cavs, man.
Shout out to the
Shout out to
Cavs.
the Cavs.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I had the opportunity to play CJEP. Before that, I was playing like AAU. I was part of a pretty like well-known program in Montreal called like the Alma Academy. Now it's called Tetford, but that was a big stepping stone in my career in terms of like development and like bringing me where I am today. You know, I was playing under Coach Igor Rugema, and I was just playing around so much talent there. That's like one of my best memories. You know, a lot of ups and downs, but like it brought me a long way. You know, and then I met obviously you, Champlain College. We did our thing there. Got a nice little championship. You know the vibes. um,
2015 is the year, man.
yeah,
It's
man.
the year.
Big year, man. Shout out to all the guys. You know. Um, and yeah, like just kind of playing at a high level always pushed me to try to do more, you know, try to hit the next level, you know, like in terms of just where am I going to play next, is the next level going to be like more competitive, you know, just things like that. So from Champlain to CIS, unfortunately life happened, and like me playing D1 didn't really go the way I thought it would, but I was grateful enough to get an opportunity to play here at St. Mary's. Um, Coach Jonah Tossic recruited me, and kind of like I showed up here, and it was again another level of basketball. You know, where we're getting, it's harder and harder. The leagues are more physical and things like that. You know, so that's one thing I do like about like my basketball path, is that it always got a little bit harder. You know, as we went further on, like it got harder. Um, More talented players. You know, I had the opportunity to play here, there, and everywhere. But as I grow older, man, it's just like better and better players, which is dope. You know, it's dope. You get to meet all kinds of all kinds of talent in the world. You know, so that's just
Absolutely,
cool.
man. And it's like talking about like talent. And speaking of Champlain, I think honestly, being part of a bowl team,
Yeah,
that's by far the most talented team I was ever part of.
at
Like,
Champlain.
yeah, that year when we won, I don't think we'll lack at any position, like anything. You talk
Yeah,
about physicality, you talk about IQ, you talk about shooting, you talk about size, like everything. Like that team was complete.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
unfortunately, it's unfolded in different way at the Nationals, but it is what it is, But nonetheless, great experience, like you said. Like
yeah, man.
I wish, how we had more years altogether.
Yeah,
That team would have been.
yeah, pretty
I
much.
don't.
When we
I
we
don't think
got there
there's
this.
denial to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got there the same year, right? So like,
Yeah.
well, we had a really good team, and then the next year we started like losing players. Players would graduate and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, man, it was amazing. A lot of shout out to Champlain real quick because a lot of very talented players went through that program, man. You know what I mean? Like even guys like before us, like Kenny Jean Louis, Kevin, a bunch of those guys, Alex Paquin, all those dudes.
Mojo,
Mojo for sure, Mojo.
Mojo,
You know what I mean?
Mojo, Max.
Max, a lot of guys,
Max
man.
Hughes. Like a lot, man. Like that. I think like going like even back, but shout out to JD. Coach
Yeah,
John D'Angelis, like he brought that program to like another level, and then it just continued to grow with like
yeah,
Steve White, with Dan Martin, Craig Norman, and Dan Martin's still there coaching.
yeah, man.
Um, so and he's been bringing talent from a little bit of everywhere, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
now you see guys like succeeding, like Andy is gonna be like joined Santa FX, probably would have competed against you if the
Yeah,
not COVID, but but then SIE going to UBC
UBC.
Thunderbirds is like big program, high academics, and like I feel like that school brought the best out of you. Those like those days when you had to be in the coach's office and do the homework.
Oh man, oh man.
Oh man, that was something.
Yeah.
But talking once again, like another thing that being really underestimated is what basketball gives you, like that brotherhood, what you
Yeah.
can learn from one another, how you can rely on one another. Um,
Yeah. I think it's not just basketball, but just like team sports, in general. Like that's one thing that always like I loved about sports is just the camaraderie and like, bro, every person I played with, um, over these past like 10 years type thing, like are my boys, like and you become brothers with these guys and you have several relationships with people, and it's kind of like you grow together, you experience a bunch of stuff together, you go to war together, and I think that is something that like I wish upon like everybody is to when it comes to sports, like try it out, try team sports, like be a student athlete if you can, what I mean. It just makes I feel like the experience even better.
yeah, you're totally right, man. Like having that relationship for the rest of your life is beyond anything,
Yeah,
honestly. Like to be able to really like reach out to you and be like, "Yo, Nick, I'm having my podcast. How you want to hop on and talk basketball and life? How
yeah,
things bring us, you know, to another level, not just basketball wise, but relationship, education, and anything that it brings us, all kinds of opportunities. And
yeah,
I
man.
often thinking about it, the way things played out for me as a ball player, like taught me so much, just becoming that hardworking person in the long run, no matter what I do. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And I think that's like the number one lesson I hope everyone gets to experience, just to work, because then it becomes a habit no matter what you do.
That's true.
And I find with you, I find that even like another level, because you started like seeing like, oh, I can do more, and then boom, you start playing for University Team Canada. Talk about that. you know Going to Naples, but true,
Yeah.
international experience is different.
Oh, it's insane, man. Like so, like to be very honest with you, man, I never thought like a day in my life, like I never thought I would be playing or have the opportunity to play for the national team, like of my country. So that like was in itself like just a like it was a crazy experience. So that was last summer. I after nationals, I got invited to join the FISU national team. So it's pretty much kind of like the equivalent of like university, like Olympics, if you would say. Um, and that was insane, man. I was just like surrounded by all kinds of talented players, like the best players in the country when it comes to like, youth sports and university basketball. Some of the greatest coaches too, you know. So it was dope. We had just the opportunity to travel. We went to Europe, um, had a couple of exhibition games over in Finland, and then the tournament, which was in, like you said, in Naples, was just like extraordinary, man. Like it's my first time in Italy, you know, so beautiful place, south of Italy. Like I didn't even want to leave at that point, you know. But the best part was just like being able to play and guys that play like semi-pro or pro or just university players around the world. You know, like you just kind of you view your talent compared to them. You know, see where you stand, and that it was a big like eye opener for me, in terms of being surrounded by that much talent and that much like professionalism. You know, which is gonna help me like later on. You know, like when I want to play pro basketball and stuff like that. So it was amazing, man. It was amazing. It was hard, honestly, in terms of adapting to playing on a team where like I'm like let's say I'm big player on my team and I come to this national team and everybody's like the best player on from their teams, you know. So it's kind of like just everybody in one having to find their roles, which is not always easy, but it was a great experience, honestly, man, and I'm just looking forward to the future. You know, hopefully I get to do it again, and you know, it was great. It was really great, man.
Well, next year's FISU games, I think, supposed to take in Beijing,
Yeah,
China,
yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm not
exactly,
mistaken. Hopefully, hopefully COVID by then will have its own place somewhere in the corner. It just,
man.
you know,
Man, I hope
it's
because
different time we live in, man.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's not the best times, you know, when it comes to sports and stuff. Well, for anybody, honestly, but
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, man. How do you feel about season being canceled now? U.S.
Um, it
done.
sucks. It sucks because like you could ask any athlete, like they want to play. You know, that's why we do what we do because we want to compete and we want to win. You know, and this year was going to be a big year, like for me individually, but for our team as well. Like we have so much talent on our team, and I was just very excited to kind of play with this group of guys. A lot of guys been working really hard on their game, and unfortunately, we can't really showcase or just play. Period. This year, so that's a bummer. But it's life, man. You know, you can't really. COVID's a real thing. You can't really go against that. You know, better safe
Can't
than
really go
sorry. I
around
feel.
it. Oh, absolutely, man. Especially,
Yeah.
when there's a lot of people that are vulnerable to the virus and just getting out and being exposed to something
Yeah.
that probably not the best in a lot of people's situation, right? So I think shutting down the season might have been the best decision in this case, in this scenario. But they might have a regional play though, so
Well,
you
like
might be able
like
to play.
like exhibitions and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So at least it's something. It might not be the best way to bring teams together and have real competition.
Yeah.
Because when something is on the line, you do take it more serious. You think about it. You're like, this game can lose me a lot, or you'd be like, oh, if I
Yeah.
win this game, we might be playing for a championship game, and it's
It
completely
mean it
different.
mean it means more, you know, and that's when it comes to like when we talk about goals, like individual or team goals to win, to be better and stuff like that, you know. Exhibition games would be great though, like it would be still an opportunity to play against other teams, you know. Practicing against the same guys for a whole year would be kind of hectic, I think, for every team. You know what I mean? Every league, period. So always good to kind of test your capabilities and against other teams, you know.
Well, I guess it's like a learning curve at this point. You kind
Yep.
of start learning about each other, getting that chemistry. You have the chemistry. You can do a lot of things regardless of who is your opponent and who you're playing against.
Yeah, that's
But
true. Absolutely.
to the what do you like about the new generation though? Like, look at those basketball players coming out now. It's different. You know what I mean?
it is, bro. Basketball,
We're looking at like Kareem just
yeah,
last week,
yeah.
right?
That's
Signing that
huge. That
contract.
is huge,
Big,
bro. Huge, huge,
big.
huge.
Coming out of Seychelles.
Yeah,
Like we've
huge.
been in that league. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you have I feel like he's in his own league, man.
I think I think it's great, honestly, for CJ basketball. Well, I'm just gonna say CJ in general, but because like now it gives like kids like back home, like where we're from, like you're like 14, 15, you're like, damn, like this guy's from down the street, you know what I mean? And he's playing in the NBA. Guys like Lugens too, you know. But when it comes to CJEP, like I think it's just gonna open a lot of doors. It's gonna bring a lot of attention to the CJEP scene. I hope, honestly, um, and just like motivate guys, because it's all about motivation at the end of the day. You know, like you see somebody that kind of went through the same path as you're going through, and you're like, yo, I can make it there. You know, push yourself to the limit, and you'll get there. I think it's amazing, man. I think the batch of guys coming out of from our hometown, from Montreal, is sick, bro. A lot of guys are playing D1. A lot of guys are, you know, potentially like draft picks, you know, in the NBA. So it's pretty dope, man. It's pretty dope.
Man, knock on wood. Like honestly, like I'm looking at the generation that are playing in D1 right now, and I start remembering, oh, this dude played on the same team with me, but he was Bantam. You know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah,
this guy was in Bantam,
yeah. This guy
and
was a
he's
kid.
balling. Like like Tyrese at
Yeah,
Seton Hall. Then you have
you got Quincy at
Damien,
Syracuse.
yeah, Quincy. Well, I didn't really have a chance to see Quincy play against him or anything, but he's doing his thing. Then you have like Eze at
That's true.
Yale, like and there's a number of guys like Blondo, like Oliver. Like there's so many guys that are there now because one guy did it, and
Hmm.
then everyone sees that path of like, yo, if he did it, I can do it. And I feel like the future generation, the next couple of years will be another level.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think there's a lot of talent,
So
and there's a lot of when it comes to Canadian basketball, there's a lot of guys to look up to now. You know, like guys that play D1, guys that play U Sports, wherever. Like a lot of players are going to like different levels in their careers, you know, more than ever before, you know. So the exposure is crazier now than it was before. So it's dope, man. It's dope, super dope. I'm
man,
excited to see
honestly, I
like
just
I'm excited to see like how like all these programs are gonna bloom and all these players are gonna become like, you know, make a name for themselves. So
yeah,
excited.
hopefully, man, that's all you can wish for.
Yep.
Always the best,
Yep.
especially for the newer guys and for older guys who continue going pros and it's a lot
Yeah.
of things to look at. But either way, man, I really appreciate you joining me today. Great talk. Always
No
great
worries,
having you.
brother.
Always great talking to you. Um, you know, we'll stay in touch. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, brother. Keep
Yeah, I
doing your thing,
appreciate it, bro.
man. I'm proud of you, brother.
Absolutely, man.
I'm proud of you. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of you, man.
Thank you.
All right, family.
All right, brother.
See you, brother.
Later. See you. There it is. You saw it. You heard it from the man himself, Nikita Kasongo, a good friend of mine. Cherish every moment I spent with him and playing at Champlain and having him as a friend. You guys heard it all from the man himself. But for those who joined me, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you joining me. I'm looking to start this podcast doing it bi-weekly, so I'll have a live episode every week. I mean, every 2 weeks, excuse me, and they will be posted on different platforms after I end up editing things out, such as Apple Music or SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever whatever suits you. You'll be able to listen it on the go if you have to. And if not, you'll be able to catch the recap on Facebook. Follow my Facebook page, actually, 94 by 50 podcast. Follow my Instagram, 94 by 50 slash podcast underscore podcast, excuse me. And, I hope to hear from you guys, your feedback, your questions. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you would want to suggest, maybe a topic, we can have a drop it in the comments, and I'll think about it. Maybe we'll have an episode where I'll have a Q&A session about something that you guys might want to know, or something that you guys would like to share. Um, Canadian basketball, Canadian trainers, coaches. Shout out to Canadian sports. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Remember, no matter what you do, keep going hard and always keep it simple. Have a wonderful day.